Every May 5th, Americans purchase over $600 million worth of beer. The date is marked by massive nationwide parades, bottomless margaritas, and outdoor block parties stretching from Los Angeles to New York. But if you ask the people at those parties what they are actually celebrating, this infographic illustrates a massive historical error. Roughly 9 out of 10 Americans believe May 5th is Mexico's Independence Day. Mexico actually declared its independence decades earlier and observes that national anniversary on September 16th. In fact, traveling south of the border on May 5th, you won't find sweeping national festivities. Outside of one specific state, most Mexicans treat it as a perfectly normal, unremarkable workday. How did a modest regional date cross the border to become a massive American social phenomenon? To find out, we have to strip away decades of modern corporate marketing and travel back to a dust-choked battlefield in the 19th century. The year is 1862. At the Laredo and Guadalupe forts in the central Mexican state of Puebla, the military situation is bleak. A small Mexican force of 2,000 to 4,000 men under General Ignacio Zaragoza is staring down a vastly superior French siege army. Against steep odds, the Mexican defenders fiercely repelled the French forces, scoring a miraculous underdog victory. Zaragoza wired the supreme government in Mexico City to report the triumph, boasting the nation's arms had covered themselves with glory. This bar chart quantifies the scale of that tactical brilliance. It compares the estimated 650 French casualties against roughly 400 Mexican losses. Tactically, it was a triumph. Strategically, it was a brief pause. France soon returned with heavy reinforcements and successfully captured Mexico City. Because the broader war was ultimately lost to the French intervention, May 5th remained a localized morale booster, honored strictly within the borders of Puebla. But the memory of the battle traveled. As early as 1866, Mexican immigrants working in Nevada quietly gathered to celebrate Zaragoza's stand. Fast forward to the mid-20th century, and the United States was witnessing the rise of the Chicano civil rights movement. Mexican-American activists needed a historical symbol to anchor their political cause. They chose Puebla because Zaragoza's victory perfectly embodied an underdog indigenous force successfully resisting a massive European empire. The battle shed its strict military context and transformed into a rallying cry for Mexican-American resilience, an assertion of identity bajo el sol de Aztlán, or under the sun of the mythological Chicano homeland. These community-led celebrations focused on authentic pride, highlighting traditional music, bilingual speeches, and the preservation of cultural heritage. By resurrecting the date, activists created a symbolic center for the movement's push for civil rights and minority empowerment. By the 1980s, the growing visibility of these grassroots festivals caught the attention of massive American food and beverage corporations. Mexican beer importers, specifically brands like Corona and Modelo, were actively searching for a reliable marketing hook to expand their U.S. audience. This line graph tracks the explosion of U.S. beer sales on May 5th, starting in 1989. It reveals how aggressive, highly funded advertising campaigns deliberately rebranded the date into a Mexican St. Patrick's Day. These corporate pushes successfully lifted the holiday out of specific Hispanic neighborhoods and cemented it firmly into the mainstream American public consciousness. In the process, the intense political teeth of the Chicano movement were smoothed over, replacing a powerful message of civil rights activism with heavily sponsored mass consumption. Today, May 5th exists in two completely separate realities. In Mexico, it remains exactly what it started as, a solemn remembrance of military bravery, restricted almost entirely to the state of Puebla. In the United States, it is a complex nationwide festival that operates completely divorced from the actual events of 1862. The modern American observance exists simultaneously as a genuine expression of Mexican-American heritage and a highly commercialized corporate caricature. The legacy of May 5th reveals that the memory of an event is shaped by current cultural priorities and the commercial incentives of those who tell the story. This has been Wisdom for Your Day. For more, visit YouTube by the same name.